joining me now on this Valentine's Day, our old friend Julie Murphy-Casserly. She's a certified financial planner. She's here to share some money management tips for women. So call in with your questions, 877-358-2588. Julie, good evening. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Well, thank you, Paul. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well.
Thanks. So why is it important to make sure that women are aware and in control of their finances, even if they're in a relationship? Lots of men are listening for that answer.
Well, I am seeing a pattern happening out there these days that as life gets more and more hectic, that women are giving away their personal power when it comes to their money and just letting the men in their lives control all the money. And then they're very mad 2, 3, 4 years down the road because what they expected to have happen doesn't happen, and they have to take responsibility for not actually participating in the financial life.
Well, is it a gender issue? I mean, look at your situation now, right? Your husband, Bill, he takes care of the kids. You're out, you know, doing the big work. And so is it a male-female issue, or is it more about role in the family?
You know, I would say it's definitely a gender issue because the issues with me and my husband are completely different, to where he has more of the issue of, now I'm not the provider and where's my self-worth in this entire equation. That was a big transition the first year he was an at-home dad.
All right. Bill, we invite you to call in. See what you have to say on this. All right.
I'm sure he's got plenty to say.
Okay. Let's get to some of your tips, obviously, because people do want those.
Absolutely.
The first one is be in the driver's seat of your own finances.
Absolutely. It's about taking fiscal responsibility, that you can't blame somebody else for what's going on with you financially if you're an actual participant in it.
What if you don't like the stuff, though, or you're not, you know, look, I'll be honest with you, I don't enjoy all the financial investment stuff.
Fair enough, but you have to, at least, and this is the second point, is you have to speak up. You have to have a voice, because even if you don't want what's happening to happen or you don't want to participate, you still have an opinion. Whether you like something that's happening or not like, you may not know logistically how it all occurs, but have a voice so that you create that collaborative relationship with your spouse.
And should that speaking up go to your spouse or significant other, or should that speaking up, you know, are you suggesting that the spouse who's not involved call the financial planner on the phone and say, I want to talk to you?
Well, sometimes you need to have that mediation, because you may not know how to have your voice with your spouse, because you two have acted financially a certain way for a certain number of years, and you may not know how to do it any differently, because we learn it from our parents and our communities that we grew up in of the role that we typically play financially. So you may need that mediator to help you out through that process. All
right, 877-358-2588 for folks, or Bill, who want to call in with their own questions. You also suggest women need to just trust their judgment. Listen up.
Absolutely. We have this women's intuition. We just question it on a regular basis. And if we actually trust our gut, you may not know what that feeling means. You just know that it doesn't feel right to you. And sometimes just speaking up to that point will start to provide clarity in finding out what it is that you truly, really want.
All right. The next tip I've renamed for you. I'm calling it Hinder the Kinder.
Hinder the Kinder. All right.
It's about be careful of your kids, and I'm so glad your kids are too young to be listening to this comment. Because essentially what you're saying is, hey, the kids need our help, but sometimes we got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, well, what it is about holding boundaries. You know, one of my clients had said, well, you know, they'll give your kids student loans for college, but they're not going to give you a loan to retire. And that's a very fair statement, you know. And one of the other components there is that it's about releasing the financial drama in your life. That, you know, we play these things out, we act these things out because we're not getting what it is that we want and desire in life. And we either work things out or we act them out. And money is one of the biggest ways that we act things out in this country.
It is, and emotions are a real driving force. I mean, your book that talks so much about the power of emotions, you talk about embracing your emotions. I guess what you're saying is trust the way you feel about things.
Absolutely. You know, my book, The Emotion Behind Money, is all about building wealth from the inside out. And it's about finding that clarity as to what is the life that you want to create, and then have your finances support that. So many people come into my office and they say, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. You know, there are no shoulds. It's about what is the life you want to create.
All right, and then let's bring Bill in this one last time, and that's for people who say, look, I'm uncomfortable with this, or I don't want to do it, or this is not. How do you talk to your partner? That's my question. Your advice is talk to them. Tell me how. Right.
Well, the first step is begin with the end in mind. You know, set your intentions for the outcome that you want to create, because so many times, even with my own husband, I realized I had to have the conversation with him like I would with a client and say, okay, my intent is this out of this conversation, and I know I'm going to communicate it sideways. It's not going to come out the right way. So first, set that intent. Secondly, create that collaborative environment in allowing both parties to speak so that it's not one person trying to control or complain or dominate over the other spouse, which I find happening all the time with people. Third step is acknowledge your fears. I mean, we don't create the financial lives we want because we're afraid that the bottom's going to drop out or somebody's going to lose their job. But acknowledge them and work through them, because the more we try to bury those fears, the more it's going to blow up in your face.
All right, great advice, and I have full faith that when you get home, your husband Bill will be having just a wonderful Valentine's evening planned for you and your kids. Julie Murphy-Casterly, as always, thanks for your advice. Great stuff tonight. I know women were listening.
Thank you.
All right, and up next, tonight's Get This. President Obama makes some comments this morning on Valentine's Day. We'll have that when we come back.